Hi, this is Renee, and welcome to my channel, A Lot to Tell. If some of you have been with me for a while and you have looked at my previous videos, some 6 years ago, 5, 4, and you will notice that to me, my mouth looked a whole lot better. My mouth got messed up during the Black Lives Matter, showing up here in Houston, Texas, relating to George Floyd. And a lot of people were, well, I can't say what their races were, but a lot of people were so upset they started nailing up their windows to their businesses and homes because they felt like Black Lives Matters was going to show up, I guess, for trouble and start trouble, damage property. That's how we misjudge people. But anyway, I had an appointment during the week of one of those events, and it was with a dentist that I was supposed to have in June of 2020. And the dentist that came to see me was not the one that I was scheduled with for an appointment. I think I mentioned this before, but I want to go into a little bit more clarity. My mouth is injured and messed up now due to this dentist that did whatever he wanted to my mouth. At that time, I think I was 56 or 57, I'm not sure. Even though I asked him about a lot of things. And I think I mentioned already about him using anesthesia, and he already used like 2 needles of anesthesia. And then he used the third one when I asked him not to, because I was explaining to him that my mouth felt very numb and I didn't think he needed to do it again. But in his own words, he said, well, I'm the doctor. And so I guess I went on and believed what he said, but inside I was praying to God that everything would be all right, because I felt like he put too much of it. Because if my mouth is already numb and I can't feel anything, why add a third needle of anesthesia? I don't know if this doctor was upset, angry, or whatever, and found me as a black woman to use as a guinea pig. You know, we've been used as guinea pigs for a long time. And it seemed like it's still happening even to this day now. And what's so weird about it is this state, this state or states are allowing them to still use us as guinea pigs and actually have implemented organizations, you know, to protect them and not us. So, in other words, it's like they're legally been given the right to injure us and nothing be done about it. But anyway, I remembered saying how my mouth felt funny when I left the dentist, and I didn't look at my mouth until I got home. And when I looked in the mirror, I said it looked like somebody punched me really hard in my face. I mean, really hard, where my mouth was just puffed out. That's not a normal use of anesthesia, because I've had anesthesia before and I've been to a dentist before. And so all I could do was cry, because I thought and figured that would be something that was permanent. I don't know what it would do to my body. And since then, I've had numerous health issues and problems, and I don't think it had anything or has anything to do with my age, because I've always been energetic, really didn't have any problems. But you never know what kind of nerve damage you can suffer through things like that. And when I looked at my mouth, I remembered mentioning before that he used the needle to jab me in the top part of my lip above the tooth that was supposed to get extracted, which I asked him not to extract. But he did it anyway. So I saw this big jab in my lip, purple, blue, red, you name it. It was swollen. And then behind it, where the tooth was extracted, you could see the same discoloration on my gums where he removed the tooth. And also, before I even left the dentist, he didn't suture it. He didn't give me no instructions about what they call it, dry sockets, so you won't be in any pain. And didn't even give me medicine or suture it up, you know, so that no air can get in there and cause infection. In other words, he did what he had to do and just left me there. And I remembered saying that the assistant that he had, she kept lingering behind, like she knew he had done something wrong. But I guess because of her job, she really didn't say anything at all. So when I found out what happened to me, I took pictures and I sent it to this email to the doctor's office. They asked me to come in the next day And I said, if I do, I was not going to see this doctor again. I wanted to see someone else. And I think I remember saying that this doctor said it was a hematoma, a blunt jab to my lip. And she said she had never seen anything like that before. But later on, when me and my children went back to speak to the dentist that did injure me, excuse me, that did injure me, she actually sided with the doctor. Of course, it's their office. She was going to do that. But Texas is a one-party state. And as long as my voice is on the recording, I actually recorded it that day. Or rather, one of my children recorded it for me so I wouldn't get distracted. I remember being in the office crying, and I said that I was asking him questions because I've never seen anything happen like that to me before. And then when my children started asking questions, I didn't know the assistant on the side was taking notes saying we were acting combative. There go another racist word. We were angry and upset. Of course, my kids were upset. They didn't know what happened to their mom, and they just wanted some answers from a dentist that's been in business for quite a while and should know exactly what he's doing. So he used the normal phrase saying, oh, it was probably a side effect from the anesthesia. I've had anesthesia numerous times before, only with dental related. And that has never, ever happened to me. And no one has ever made the mistake of stabbing me in my lip or jabbing me in my lip while they was doing an extraction, whether it was the back of my mouth, front of my mouth, side of my mouth. So I guess what I'm trying to say is this. Because this doctor felt like what he did was correct, and I guess in a way he just knew that this state wasn't going to do anything to him. I got in touch with the Texas Dental Board, and they had the nerve to tell me my pictures didn't come out clear. When I sent them clear, oh, we don't think this dentist did anything wrong, blah, 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 and all of that there. So the first thing that came to mind, which really started me, thank God, to become a pro se litigant, was to file a suit against this dentist. But I was like, I really don't have any proof. I can transcribe what was recorded and submit that in, but that wasn't enough. So I went to the Texas Dental Board itself, looked up this man as well as his license. He did receive a license to be a DDS, but what caught my attention was he never passed the levels for anesthesia. That's what shocked me, which shouldn't have, but it shocked me. And so I looked, and for levels 1, 2, 3, and 4, he had no permit for anesthesia in those 4 levels. So I guess, in other words, he passed one test, but he didn't pass this one. And who's the typical person to use? A black woman at a certain age in your office. All of a sudden you take over from the doctor that was supposed to see my mouth, and then too, maybe you were either angry and upset that Black Lives Matter was around in the neighborhood and you would take it out on me. Why? I have no idea, because I did pay. I went there to get a service done and didn't know I was going to get injured. So it's been almost 5 years. That's why I said my cases were closed out, even though I presented key evidence relating to this dentist and what he did. It's too many people or organizations or judges and lawyers protecting those that harm us instead of protecting us that have been harmed. So I say this here because my mouth does look funny now, and my gums have been uneven since then, so it's kind of hard to pay for a bridge that would look as normal as it used to be. And when I take pictures of it, you can see the unevenness of my gums, so it's kind of hard to get something to actually fit it when there's a part that's looped up that didn't come out right, even the way he extracted the tooth out. And in other words, instead of my gums being lined normally, they're like bent a little bit up, and now I talk funny, and well, I talk as best as I can. And it's been hard trying to find partials or anything to fit across something that's been permanently damaged. And like I said, this state, this country, they're implementing buildings, organizations, and all of that to protect the people that harm us the most instead of protecting us who are being harmed, maimed, injured, paralyzed, you name it. Killed even, wrongful death. I mean, we're still being used as guinea pigs. And maybe I can't speak for everyone, so let me just speak for me. I was used as a guinea pig. What else would you call it if this person didn't have a permit for anesthesia, but you came in there to practice on me and ruined my mouth and said it was something normal, which it was not normal. Because if you would have passed that test to get a permit for anesthesia in levels 1, 2, 3, and 4, then maybe my mouth wouldn't be still messed up to this day now. So be careful who you hire. Someone told me a long time ago we need to start investigating doctors, dentists, a whole lot of people just to see if they have a license. So I'm saying that to those listening to me right now. If you haven't already suffered that, be on guard. Ask questions. There is nothing wrong with asking doctors, dentists, or whatever questions, because this is your health, your concern. And I wish I had thought about that then, but at the time I wasn't thinking, because I felt like everybody had a license. Now I found out wrong. Not everybody is licensed, and they're practicing on certain people to get their license, to get their permit. I have no idea. But those mistakes, they injure us. And we're the ones that got to live with it. And they're still practicing medicine without a permit or a license.